Welcome to the Kitchen Table Theology Podcast, where Pastor Jeff Cranston, along with our host, Jen Denton, will discuss biblical theology in an understandable way. You'll discover how to apply biblical truth to your life. Thanks for joining us at the table. Let's get started.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Kitchen Table Theology. This is Jeff Cranston with you, and I'm joined by Jen Denton.
Yes, sir.
As I have been for the last 2.5 years. And we've been telling you for the last couple of weeks that we've got a big announcement coming up regarding the future of Kitchen Table Theology, and we do, and today's the day to make the announcement. And so let me just make the announcement, and then we'll unpack it for you a little bit. Jen is no longer going to be the co-host. And I've been grieving this for months now. I've done everything I can to change her mind and try to keep her with us. But I just wanted to let you know that and to say a huge thank you to Jen Denton, because it has been an absolute delight to do this with you, Jen. And we went back and looked. We had our first podcast on April the 14th, 2020. The height of COVID.
I think we probably went through one of those detox sanitizer machines probably before we came in the door.
Yeah, we were, it wasn't that we were being disobedient to every governmental authority, but I don't think were we wearing masks? I don't even remember.
I don't know, but I feel like both of us, because of our position in the world, we'd COVID tested so many times, in that,
every
time frame.
I walked through a door, somebody was sticking a thing on my forehead to take my temperature.
We were good. We
do know we began the podcast in the worst year to begin a podcast, and we began the podcast in the worst month of that year. And yet here we
had a lot
are.
Going for us right there in the beginning.
We had no idea. And we were just saying that we would hate to go back and listen to the early podcast because yeah, that would be embarrassing.
Yep.
Like we're so much better now.
We've got more in the pocket now, I would say.
But Jen and I have been friends for well over 15 years, I would say. How long have y'all been around?
Yeah, this summer will be 18.
18 years. So we've known each other for 18 years. And she was an easy first go-to person when I thought about starting this, because you had podcast experience before.
A little bit.
And I had been on that podcast.
You were a guest.
And I remember thinking, I don't even know what a podcast is. And this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. We just sat around and talked. And I said, people are going to listen to this? And they do. So we started this, and this has been this podcast that I've been wanting to start for years, because I still do. And every 2 years when that State of Theology in the American church, that survey comes out, and it gets worse every 2 years. It's just all the more reason to continue to teach people good theology. So I'm really sad that you're stepping out, but I fully understand. And I'm really glad it's not goodbye, because
not goodbye in the least.
We'll still see each other a lot on Sundays and stuff. So how about just telling us just your thought process and what's led you to this?
Sure.
Momentous decision.
Yeah. Well, I will say, first of all, it was an easy yes when the ask came along, not only because of our relationship, but because of really just the opportunity to learn and grow in my own walk of faith over the last 2 years. It's been nice to turn into the student for a little bit, throw out some questions here and there, but very easy yes. Also because I'm firmly committed to really what has been, even though it might not be written down this way, the mission and vision of Kitchen Table Theology, just that application part of theology that I often get to make that statement there as we close things out together. This is an exciting, little bit challenging, I don't know what's going to happen next season of life. In a professional standpoint, I just finished my first book, and I am well into the process of number 2. But I think for our family too, we have our first child graduating in June and going off to college. And so this next season of life is just one that I really want to be present for. And I don't want to look back and feel like I missed it. So we're just looking at, different ways to be present in the moment for that.
Because this does require time. The podcast. And I think we all completely and fully understand that. And if you're a local here in Bluffton, South Carolina, you'll see Jen on stage either or online. If you join us online in church, Jen's online a lot as a service host there as well. And you sing on our worship team. So thank you. It's been 134 podcasts. 2.5 years.
We said we'd get to 100. We
didn't. We never did. We say that?
We did. You said I had this goal of 100.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's really.
But not when we started.
No.
When we started, I didn't know what to think. And I'm like, I don't know that anybody's going to listen to this. And where are they going to come from?
Lo and behold.
Yeah, and you leave us with us averaging around 5,000 downloads every month.
That's great.
Which, for little old us coming from little old Bluffton, here in the Kitchen Table Theology studios, which we pull chairs up to a desk and sit across from each other, and Jen has done this completely as a volunteer. And it's a huge commitment, and it's a lot of time. And I think cumulatively, if we added up the number of hours that you have given to this, it would be staggering. So, it goes beyond what most people would give in terms of volunteer service.
You know how I feel about that. One of the things I get to talk to people about is that we get the opportunity to serve. That, service and worship through singing and worship through giving, those are all just our way to worship. It's our response. So it's been a privilege to just be a tiny part of this process.
Well, you've given a lot. It's been fun.
It has been fun.
I tell people, Jen's like the sister I never had, but my sister takes great offense with that.
No.
Kelly, we love Kelly.
She's the one who's going to lend you money, I think, if we go back out.
We've talked about her before, but it's just a fun relationship you and I have. And it was you said it all. So I just recently celebrated a birthday. So here was my text from Jen. Happy birthday, weirdo. And that was it. That was all I got. So that sort of sums it all up right there.
Well, my comeback, if you said, what in the world is this? Is I love this phrase. It says, weird is a byproduct of awesome.
Okay. Then I'll take that.
Yeah.
I also felt that was a line out of a TV show or a movie.
I don't know. My daughter used it as her 8th grade graduation quote. Which sums her up pretty well.
Oh, man. Well, Jen, thank you so much. It's an announcement I never wanted to make. I just figured we'd go out together, but I still believe there's more to offer. Mm-hmm. So the podcast, Lord willing, the podcast will continue. And I'll have another co-host. This will not be somebody who will replace Jen, because I really do think you're unreplaceable, or unreplaceable is not a word. Irreplaceable. But we'll just have a great co-host at some level. That all remains to be seen. But I have great hope and great belief in that. And I'll have to find out all of that person's idiosyncrasies, like I've learned about yours. We've learned many things about Jen. There's certain words that she literally gags when she hears them, not only says them. And so Kitchen Table Theologian, and this also, I think, gives you an understanding into our relationship. I would purposely write those words into our notes to make her read them. And she always came up with synonyms.
A live bob and weave, so to speak. It's a verbal bob and weave.
It's hard to work in a word like crevice into theology.
Nope.
But I tried. I did get moist in. She hates that word. And then omnipotent, you often...
Oh, I butcher that word when I see it in print.
You would often say omnipotent.
Yes, because when I see it in print, it just looks like that's the way you should say it.
And so once I discovered that, that word began popping up in Kitchen Table
everywhere. Yes. Yes.
Well, here's what we'll do. We'll sign off here in just a second. But we're going to take off on the podcast from now, and then, Lord willing, return on January the 8th. So we're going to take off for the holidays. We did this last year. We may drop a bonus podcast in or two. Sometimes we'll go back and see which was the most popular ones, and we'll repost those. So we may do that, but we're going to take a little bit of time off. So don't unsubscribe. Stay with us, hang in there, and then we'll drop a new podcast on January the 8th with a new co-host. And so until then, I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving and a very Merry Christmas. And I want to say this to you, Kitchen Table Theologian. I would love for you to have the opportunity to say thank you to Jen. To those of you who are local, just grab her some Sunday and tell her how much you appreciate what she's done. If you're not local, and many, many, many of you are not, I think the easiest way to express your gratitude would just to be able to go into the review section of the show. So there's a rating section, there's a review section. They're all together on your app. Now, this is not a surreptitious way to get more reviews. I promise you it's not. I care about the reviews and what you say. I don't care about a certain number of reviews. We're not in this for any other reason than to share good, solid theology. But I think that would be the easiest way. So if you want to go to the review section and just say, hey, Jen, thank you, and leave her a thanks. And that way she'll be able to see every one of the reviews. And that, I think, will be the easiest way for you to do that. And I know a lot of you are going to want to do that. And so until January the 8th, I hope you have, again, wonderful holiday season, that you have a good time to be grateful to God and a wonderful time to reflect in the first advent of the Lord Jesus coming to save his people from their sins. So, Jen, I wonder, any other comments, any other words?
Nope. Can I close it out with my phrase?
Yes, I was going to ask you to do that.
Well, thank you for joining us for Kitchen Table Theology. It has been an honor and a privilege. And until our paths cross again, always remember that the real power of theology is not only knowing it, but applying it.
You've been listening to the Kitchen Table Theology Podcast with Jen Denton and Pastor Jeff Cranston. Join us next time for more insights into biblical truth. If you'd like to know more on today's topic, you can check out the show notes at jeffcranston.com. You can also email us at pastorjeff@lowcountrycc.org. If you're enjoying this podcast, would you consider leaving a rating and review on iTunes? We deeply appreciate your help in getting the word out. And be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or in your favorite podcasting app to continue this journey with us as we learn about and apply God's Word to our lives. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time here at Kitchen Table Theology.